Okay. Hello, we're back. We're doing this again. Yeah, we said we were going to do it, so we're actually here. This is things I watched this month and what I thought of those things. The things are going to follow, and this month, well, it's September. I actually moved house this month, so I didn't get to watch that many things, but I'm just going to get on with it. September! Okay, I'm going to get this one out of the way quite quickly. I watched the first hour and a half of 2012's The Lucky One. I'd suggest that if you haven't seen this, just give it a miss. I mean, watch it if you like it, but it's not a good film. Zac Efron performs his character with less emotions than your dad, and I somehow doubt that the last half of this film, which I did not see, made up for how pointless the first half seemed. I could tell you about it, but I'm already boring myself, so I'm just gonna skip ahead and rate this film. I'm gonna give it... Actually, this isn't fair. I didn't see the whole film, so I can't really give it a fair rating, so 1 star. Next. Okay, I actually went to see this film because the film I was watching at the time really wasn't cutting it for me. So I donned my mask, I braved the outside world, and I went to see Tenet. Ooh. Now, I've already made a video about Tenet, though that one was more of a run-through of the plot. So on the off chance you've seen Tenet and you want to know what was going on, you know, that's a thing I made. But I am going to give it a wee review here, because that's what we're here for. Tenet is good. It's gripping, it's clever, and it's a Christopher Nolan film. It's fun, isn't it? Is it a film I am rushing to see again? Actually, I don't think so. I don't know if it's because I had to do an in-depth analysis of it to make my Tenet video, but I actually think that once you understand what's going on here, there's not that much to go back for. Sure, go back and see it again and it'll all make sense and it'll look very cool, but the story lacks character. There's very little emotional development within these characters, and it's not as eye-catchingly beautiful as some of Nolan's other features. But on first viewing, I found it to be a very enjoyable game of connect the dots with slightly more humour than Nolan's other films, albeit most of that coming from Robert Pattinson, who's lovable in this. He's just. John David Washington proves he can be a leading action hero, but I'm still yet to see him play a character with weaker qualities to rate him as a versatile actor just yet. Elizabeth Debicki is great, her character being given the only real soul in the story, and she plays opposite the absolutely wild and unpredictable Kenneth Branagh. He just threw down his teapot and went balls to the wall on this role. He goes full Branagh. Now, I'm not going to describe the story of the film here because it's a film that's very much about you learning as it goes, but I will say if you like Nolan's work, it's worth seeing. So Tenet, fuck, I have to rate this now. How do I not piss people? 4 stars. Next, I watched The Social Dilemma, which is a documentary. Yeah, that's right, your boy wants to learn things. For this documentary, they basically rounded up loads of people who worked for big social media platforms, your Facebooks, your Snapgrams, your Reddit, and they outed these companies for what they really are. Now, I'm not trying to take any sides here, make any points, just want to make that very clear. It's just something I watched and I'm gonna now tell you about it. I was already fairly aware of the corruptness in which the internet is run and how terrified we should be of it, but once you hear people who actually know what they're talking about tell you what's actually happening, it's slightly more unsettling. The documentary explains that the way these platforms and websites are run is designed specifically for you, the individual internet user. They can figure out what you like and how your brain works through your history and your purchases, and they can craft an internet that gives you ads catered solely to you, shows you only really the videos it thinks you'll like, and can even control what happens when you search on Google. The great example they give is apparently if you type climate change into Google, depending on where you live, the autofill answers will be different. Not only this, corporations can pay to have their page come up first, basically controlling what stories are fed to that location, and they even go as far as to explain that a civil war has been set up and started through Facebook. The big tech people design the internet in this way to try to keep you on the screen for as long as possible. The systems created and put in place to make the internet the most appealing place it can be is astounding. These people know you better than you know yourself. Now, I'm not saying watch this and then delete all your social media. You make your own choices. That's the beauty of being a person. But it's a fascinating watch and just a glimpse at the unfathomable power that is the internet. If you're interested in how the internet works and social media works, this is a really informative piece of media. It uses a narrative device that comes across as jarring at first, mainly, I feel, because of bad acting, but by the end of it, it really helps to simplify the explanations and display the emotional impact of the internet's unemotional intelligence. There you go, you got that line out, you wrote it sounded real intelligent, and you just gotta give it 3.5 hashtags. Let's go! Boo! Davey Attenborough's Planet Earth, A Celebration. Yeah, what is going on? We're all over the place this month. Films, documentaries, now this TV show. Well, it's gripping high quality content, that's what it is. Davey A is just an absolute boss. The man can do no wrong. And this time he's back with a celebration of Planet Earth, bringing on board Hans Zimmer and Dave to make it an hour of nothing but the spectacle of our planet. You want dolphins? We got them. You want flamingos? We got loads. We've got this octopus who covers himself in shells to hide from predators. That's one smart ock. We got fish, specifically this fish, who's the maddest little thing I've ever seen. This fish can jump out of the water and devour any bird that's passing. Animals be mad, y'all. He even gives us more of that one video we all love. That's right, it's the return of iguana versus snakes. Am I saying that? Iguana. Reptiles versus other fuck. David Attenborough's shows never fail to remind me just how incredible the planet is, and this one, if you like our planet and animals, it's just great. He also really hits the nail on the head at the end when he tells us that we really need to start working on saving our planet. But y'all know this. I hope. David Attenborough's A Celebration of Planet Earth gets 4 koalas from me. Let's go! Alright, so I was feeling a bit down this month, and that's okay. You're allowed to feel down. It's been a tough year for people. Nobody's ever gonna look at you shitty for feeling down, and if they do, ignore them. Stick on a good movie instead. And that's exactly what I did. I watched Super 8, mainly because someone told me as an aspiring filmmaker I should, and I'd enjoy it, and they were right. I did enjoy this very sweet, very nostalgic film made by J.J. Abrams as a big old love letter to his buddy Steven Spielberg. This film is about a group of kids who are making a movie using their Super 8 camera, and they witness an extraordinary extraterrestrial event which proceeds to wreak havoc on their very American little village. The homages to Spielberg are clear. E.T., Close Encounters, and even at one point Saving Private Ryan, and the production value is mega. There's this train crash, which alone is just absurdly chaotic and explosive, and the set design throughout is overflowing. Now, normally I do not like child actors, but the kids in this film are great. They're not Olivier performance great, but they're honest. These kids are running around saying actual shit people would say in a situation like this. Whenever something happened where I would be like, oh fuck, run, shit, the kids are going, fuck, run, shit. You know, there was a grounding in reality in that sense, in what was such a absurdly sci-fi film. The choice to show very little of the alien throughout the film was a strong one, with the unveil being grotesque, and the whole film is surprisingly very funny. Also, it begins with Electric Light Orchestra, so I potentially was biased from that moment on. Super 8. Sweet. Eye-catching, uplifting, if a bit predictable, but definitely a watch if you're feeling a bit like poop. 3.5 spaceships. I liked it. It was good. It's fun. Okay, now the big one. The big 5-star film of the month. If you were going to watch one thing this month that's on my list that I'm making, I would suggest that it was this. Notes on Blindness is actually great. This is going to be hard to put into words because this film left me speechless. It's real good. It's beautifully made, with such care and intelligence given to the story that it may just be the best documentary I've ever seen. Not that I've seen a lot of documentaries. Not just the story makes me say this, but every decision made by the creative team to tell this story is done with just so much big brain. The true story is about John M. Hull, a theologian who in 1983 went blind. Being dissatisfied with the amount of intellectual audiobooks that there were for blind people to listen to, he started recording people reading big word books so he could listen back to them. But not only that, he started to record daily voice memos too, on tape, of how he was feeling, the day's events, and notes on being blind. The documentary is told by using actors who lip-sync the original voice notes and interviews with John and his wife. They are able to use these recordings to tell a chronologically dramatized version of events, while also having the ability to allow future voice notes to be spoken throughout the narrative. For example, the two actors go to the beach at one point, and the actor who plays John leans over and John's voice says, "Remember the time we went to the beach." The cinematography and symbolic choices dotted throughout this film are gorgeous, and it honestly left me speechless by the end. John lived by the idea that if society is to progress, sighted and non-sighted people must be able to live together, be together, and feel together. He makes so many points that as a sighted person, you would never imagine is a struggle. There's a beautiful scene where John describes hearing rain fully for the first time, and that it worked in a way like sonar. He could hear it bouncing off different textures and objects, and in that way he could kind of see what was around him. The man is very intelligent, and he's much more able to put these things into words and better sentences than I am, but this is genuinely a special and unique insight into humankind, and it's done so with such generosity and compassion for the subject that it makes it a truly phenomenal piece of filmmaking. Notes on Blindness gets 5 stars. It's 1.5 hours long and it's perfect. Just if you have 1.5 hours, which you do, because time is the one thing we all have in common, watch it. Well, there you go. There's September's things. I also watched the Batman trilogy this month, but to be honest, who needs another voice telling you to watch those? Pick something different, something you wouldn't normally watch. You might surprise yourself. And as always, stay tidy, stay safe, wash your hands, call your gran. Hey, Macarena.